In this video, we'll talk about the process on organizing and creating your own Amazon product listing images. We have an expert, Kamal. He lives in Canada and he runs the AMZ One Step agency where they work with photography and images. And he will be explaining us the steps you have to take in order to make your images yourself. Also, another guest we have is Lisett. She works as a store manager with multiple brands, Amazon brands, and she also has quite extensive knowledge in photography. So enjoy this conversation, and don't forget to subscribe below to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik. Click the notification bell as well. And by the way, our guest Kamal also has a YouTube channel. You will find all the links in the description of this video, and enjoy the conversation. Hello, Kamal. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? I'm glad to be
I'm
here.
good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. So we want to invite everyone watching right now on Orange Klik to join Kamal's YouTube channel, where he's also teaching Amazon sellers and posting content there. Kamal, could you introduce your YouTube content? What do you post there?
So you'll find some really cool content there. We usually post the virtual events that we're doing for the Amazon sellers, also the in-person meetups that we're doing in 6 different cities of Canada. You'll find some content there, and you'll also find some of the interviews that I have done with the influencers in the Amazon in industry. And if you're starting your Amazon journey, you can check that out.
Perfect. And also today in this conversation, we will have Lisett. Hello, Lisett.
Hi.
So Lisett is our video host at Orange Klik, and also you do have experience photographing for Amazon sellers, right, Lisett?
That's correct. Yeah, I have experience in doing lifestyle photos for Amazon sellers. So today it's really interesting to have Kamal here to talk about the other option, which is using stock images and Photoshop or other tools to create awesome Amazon listings.
Perfect. So, Kamal, can you introduce yourself? How did you come into Amazon world, and how do you help sellers right now?
Okay, so me personally, I started selling on Amazon back in 2015 with the retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and did some wholesale for quite a bit of time, and then private label. So while I was selling on Amazon, I was also organizing meetups for Amazon sellers in the city, Edmonton. So as soon as the meetup started growing up, a lot of people were asking me, hey, where do you get the photos done from? Where do you get the listings done from? And who's the freight forwarder do you use? And, I was coming up, people were asking a lot of questions. So I saw the opportunity, okay, this is the perfect time to launch an agency where we can be a one-step shop and provide services to the sellers like listing optimization, product photography, manage accounts and stuff like that. So that's how I got started with Amazon, and that's how I came into the AMZ One Step agency.
Perfect. So today we want to educate Amazon sellers about photography and to explain a little bit the process, how they can do images themselves, right? Using stock photos and some other tools. So, Lisett, where do we start with Kamal?
I think perhaps as a starter, we could ask Kamal how sellers should start the process of planning the images. So, because the first question is, what images does the seller need for the product? So let's start from there.
Okay, so there's different types of images that sellers need to put on their listings. Amazon allows us up to 9 images. So 7 is pretty good number. If you're someone, just starting out, 9 is a good number to start with. Obviously, main image and 1 or 2 extra hero shots are pretty important so that people can see the different angles of your product and how the product actually looks like. And the other 2 important, part of listing photos are the infographics and the lifestyle images. So you can put some really good content in the form of infographics in your listings, and that can really boost your conversion rates. So infographics is one part, and the other part is the lifestyle images. So you can use the stock images or real life models, but we'll be talking about stock images in this video. You can use the stock images to make a really good lifestyle images. So where do you start first? First thing what you need to do is do some research. What kind of images your competitors are using? If you have access to the brand analytics, maybe search for the main keyword, see what listings are converting well. And just probably look at their listing, see what kind of images do they have, or what's your unique selling point of your product, and talk about that in the lifestyle images. Who's your target audience? Is it for a mom, or is it for a like male audience between 25 to 35, or is it for kids? So figure out what your target audience is and create the lifestyle images and infographics in such a way that you are targeting those people. So I think the first step would be where you can start from is understanding your product, your competitors, and your target audience. So this is where every seller should start when they think about Amazon listing photos.
Okay.
So basically, you are saying that I have to go into the customers' heads and think what kind of images they would be receiving at the best, right? Because even I know the target audience. Let's say my audience is my buyers are photographers who are doing night photography. So now, how do I know what to put on the image? Like how to come up with these ideas?
Okay, yeah. So, for example, if you're let's just take that same example. For example, if your target audience is photographer who are specializing in nightlife photography, right? So, what we want to make sure before we even show, let's say we're selling the camera to them, right? So, we want to show them the results of what kind of results you can produce with this camera, and this is what you're going to get. Because mainly the photographers, for the sake of an example, they are very specific. They're looking for the exact name and model. Okay, this is the lens I'm going to buy. Make sure that the lens model number or serial number is in the listing so that they know what they're buying for. And also, make sure you're showing them the results, because photographers, they're looking for results, what kind of images they're gonna get when they buy this product. So make sure you're showing them the results. Make sure the lifestyle images showing a nightlife nature or whatever you're trying to showcase, and be specific with the specifications, like a lens, as I mentioned, the serial number, or what cameras would it fit on, maybe it can go on Nikon, it can go on maybe Canon, whatever the specifications are. So these are few things that you can put on your listing images. So photographers probably not a great examples, because they are always very specific. They always search for what lens they want to buy, and they just buy that. They don't scroll, and they don't make decision based on multiple listings. For example, let's say coffee mug. People do not know what coffee mug they're going to buy. They will probably scroll through 5 or 10 designs and make a decision. When on the other side, the photographer, they'll just know what they're buying. They just search for that and buy that right away.
Okay, but if we go back to the beginning from lifestyle images and infographics you already told us about, so the first thing sellers need is main image. So what are the options to create the main image? Can sellers have any opportunities to use stock photos or use Photoshop or other tools, or they should only rely on real life photography and just a quality photo?
For the main image, Amazon does. There are some requirements by Amazon that we have to follow. For first, main image should be pure white background. It should cover minimum 85% or more of the product photo. So you can't really do a lot with the real life photo, with the stock images and everything, because it has to be white background only. So the best way to create a high quality main image is just make sure you are using a really high quality camera and taking the shot from a very creative or unique angle where people find it attractive and they click on your listing. So there's a lot of sellers, they try to come up with the fancy stuff. They'll put some props in their logos, badges, or like mirror reflection. But it's not recommended. Amazon doesn't like it if someone, reports your listing, and your listing will be taken down, and that's going to hurt your sales and ranking. With the main image, there's not a lot of options. You just have to go with the pure white background and a hero shot.
Okay, good. That's valuable information that sellers should follow the Amazon guides and read them through in order to know what kind of images Amazon actually approves. So sellers need lifestyle images, and one way is to use stock photos and some tools. So how would this process look like?
Okay, so how to use the stock images. So first, as we talked about, that you need to figure out what kind of images you want on your listing. What's your target audience? Let's say your target audience is between 25 to 35 years of old female audience living such a lifestyle. So try to find those images on, you can go to adobestock.com or you can go to shutterstock.com. Search for that image, maybe female standing in front of kitchen, like gray kitchen counter, something like that. You can type whatever your target audience is. You're going to see lots of listings on lots of photos on this Shutterstock or Adobe Stock. Select that photo, see how can you Photoshop your product into that stock image. So if you're not a graphic designer, if you're not a photo editor, you can hire a freelancer or you can hire an agency to do this work for you. So you need to Photoshop your product into that stock image and make sure it's blending in beautifully and it's not looking like a Photoshop. If it looks Photoshop, you're technically, you're killing the purpose of this job. So make sure it does not look Photoshop. You're blending in nicely. All the shadows are done properly. For example, if the sunlight or the light source coming from the other side, you need to Photoshop the shadows and everything. And the fillers, you can use some infographics to make the image look real. And again, the most important factor is make sure when you do the final edit, it does not look Photoshop.
Okay, so it's quite a bit of challenge to make everything right regarding to the lifestyle images, right?
Yes, it's quite a challenging job. So when you're hiring any image editor or freelancer, make sure they are skilled. They are highly skilled in this job. Maybe look at their portfolio or something, see what kind of jobs they have done. End of the day, if you can say the image looks photoshopped, the job's not done right. That means it could be a bad stock image, it could be a bad Photoshop work, or it could be the light source or something. So there are many reasons which can make the photo look bad. So it is a quite challenging process and experience. Image editor or graphic designer can do this job.
Talking about the resources, you mentioned those paid ones, stock image websites. What about Pixabay and Pexels? They are like very popular for free images. What do you think about them? Is it risky to use them, or there is no really good images there?
No, they are pretty cool options. If you're the difference between the paid and the free ones, number one is you don't get a lot of options. For example, if you're looking for something on Adobe Stock, you'll get maybe 50 options. On Pexels, you'll only get 10. So you don't have a lot of options in the free websites. And the high quality images, when you really need what you're looking for, Shutterstock and Adobe Stock have much better chances of having that image. And Pexels, they don't have that much or that specific images. And the other reason I would recommend using the paid websites is because on Amazon, there might be other listings which are probably using the same listing, because everyone likes to use the free stock images, right? So if you're using something like Pexels.com, then you're going to see the same photos like to your competitors as well. And you don't want to do that. So it's worth paying slight amount of money and get a really good stock image.
Okay, I think like one challenge sellers have been having with using stock photos and using tools to add their product on the photos is that it's possible to, if you have some of the photos just made by photographer of the product, it's quite easy to add those product images and combine those with the stock images. But if you want to have a photo, for example, when a person is wearing, a wristband or something where the product is in different angles, should the seller have those photos of the product beforehand, or how it's possible to put the product in a movement or in the correct position?
So yeah, it really comes down to the skill set of the graphic designer that you're going to use. About 90% of the time, we are able to Photoshop any product on the people. For example, if it's a hat or if a wristband or a posture corrector, we have done some magics with the Photoshop. Probably I can share my screen in about some time and show you how the Photoshop can do a lot of cool things with it. So I think so the screen's here. So I'm just going to show you something. Let's say this is a necklace. It does not look photoshopped. It looks like a real model is wearing it, but in reality it's a stock image, and this is the product that we're the necklace, and it's not a real model, it's a stock image. So with the skill set of the graphic designers, you can make it look real. So it's all about, you get what you pay for. If you're hiring someone to do an image for $5, it's probably not going to look as real on, like, right. So this is one good example of someone wearing the like, look at this. So this is an image where a client wanted, a bluish theme. So the product, you can't really see the product much because it's the client's requirement. So this is a elbow sleeve that this athlete is wearing. So this is a product that we made it wear, and maybe I can show you. Same thing. Yes, example right here. That's a good example of bodybuilder wearing the elbow sleeve with some nice infographics. Does not restrict motion. Users can freely move and do things they love. So it's a nice infographics, and we can make it look real with the Photoshop as well. Let's take a look at another example. There you go. So this is a stock image, and we have photoshopped the hair straightener to it, and it looks as real as anything, right? So this is a pretty good example of making the product look real. Maybe I can show you some.
Okay, but I have one question regarding to the last photo you just showed us with the girl and the hair straightener. So what are the components that are displayed here? So there was this lady before, and what she was holding in her hands before.
She was also holding a hair straightener, but that was a different one.
Okay.
And he was not wearing any glove. So the glove, that's also a part of the product. It comes with the package. So what we have done a Photoshop. We have put glove in on her hand, and we have also changed the straightener from what she was using before, and now she's using the customer's product.
Okay, and in order to do that, did you need to photograph the product yourself with the glove?
Yes, we have to do the photograph, and sometimes it's when you're using the stock image, when you really have to click from this specific angle so that your product fits that stock image. So this is one challenge, that if you are doing the photography yourself or you're hiring someone to do the photography, so just make sure your product is at the same angle as the stock image. So yeah, so you do need to take photos for the stock images as well.
And how long it might take to create this kind of image? Let's say talking about this lady.
So for us, we spend usually around 2 to 3 hours on one image. And some freelancers, they can do it in 1 hour as well, but it does not take more than 3 hours. It includes doing some research, finding the perfect stock image, editing it, adding infographics and stuff like that. So yeah, so I would say maximum 3 hours for one image.
Okay, so I think now it's good time to ask about, like, when should sellers go for real life photography versus using stock photo and Photoshop or other tools, because in some occasions it rather makes sense to hire a photographer and use a model instead of doing the work manually.
That is a really good question. So I would recommend, if you're someone who is just starting out or as a beginner, or you are low on budget, or you need things done quickly, I would recommend stock images right off the bat, because they can save you a lot of time. They are easy to revise. Let's say you don't like a stock image, but you can say to your designer, hey, I don't like this image. Can you please change the model? It's so easy to do that. So if you're someone brand new, low on budget, have a limited time, go with the stock images. And the real life models, I would recommend for the brands who are willing to build a brand on Amazon. So what I would recommend, if you have the budget, go for the real life models, because that's gonna that way you're not using the same images that your competitors are using. You want to make your brand stand out, right? So for that reason, I would recommend the real models. And there is one exception though. In some cases, for example, a camping hammock, we had to go with the models, otherwise the product would not get into the shape of what it needs to be. So in that case, there are some exceptions. Maybe you have a brand new invention which does not have a lot of stock images available on the websites. In that case, you need real models. Or in some cases, where you're not able to Photoshop. Maybe it's a glass which has a liquid in it, and it's super hard to Photoshop. In that kind of situation, yeah, go with the real life photography. But other than that, stock images can do the job. But end of the day, again, coming back to the same point, when you're getting the image done, if it looks photoshopped, maybe get a better job done, or get a real life model so that your image looks beautiful.
Okay, I really like what you just said, that there is actually a difference between well photoshopped image versus some photos that we have probably all seen in Amazon as well that are not doing the job so well. Okay, cool. Are there any tools that sellers can use themselves to put together some images using stock photos and their product photos?
Yeah, there are some tools. If you know a little bit of Photoshop, you can use that. If not, you can use like tools like Canva to put some infographics there. But yeah, so I would say, if you're good at it, you can use it, but it's not recommended. You can even hire someone to just do the basic blending and get the job done professionally. It just If you're good at Photoshop, just you can do it. If not, if you're even like 50-50 or 80-20, try not to do it, because that's going to hurt your sales. If you're expecting that your listing makes millions of dollars, you can't do like $5 work and expect to that image will convert, because the images are the most important thing which convert. And if you know a little bit of Photoshop, do that, or you can use tools like Canva to put some infographics there.
Obviously, your agency is helping Amazon sellers with photos, right? How do you sell your service package? Do you work per photo base, or like you offer, I don't know, it should be for the whole listing photos?
So we mainly sell, the pack of 7. So 7 images, which includes like 2 hero shots and 3 infographics and 2 lifestyle images. So that's the package we sell, but it really depends on the customer's needs. If they need, for bulk, if they want to order in bulk, for example, 20 SKUs or 50 SKUs, that's got a different packages. If you just need a 1 or 2 images, that's also fine. So we have a wide range of packages available for the Amazon sellers.
And if people are interested, what's the best way to contact you?
You can reach us at www.amzonestep.com. It's ONE, not the the number 1. It's AMZ One Step. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, AMZ One Step.
Perfect. Do you have any questions more, Lisett?
I think as a final thing, maybe you can give some advice or tips what sellers should pay attention to when they are outsourcing or hiring someone to do photos of image. Should they somehow double check if the photos are purchased, or something like this?
That is a really good question. Thanks for asking. So what I would recommend, if you're someone who looking for a freelancer, first thing you gotta do, look at their portfolio, see what images they have done in the past. Second thing, when they deliver you the images, ask them if these images are licensed, because you want to make sure these images are licensed and royalty free. And that can be done if you download that from, if you license them from Adobe Stock or Shutterstock. A lot of the freelancers, just to save money, can give you the images which are not licensed. So you try to make sure, confirm with your freelancer that you're getting the image which is licensed. The other thing I would like to mention is do your own research first, because when freelancers, or when we deliver work to the clients, they don't really have that creativity as an Amazon seller. Let's say I give you a basic image with some text. The sellers, their brain go blank. They don't know what to, either they can say, oh wow, this is a great image, or they go into, oh yeah, it's all right, I don't know what can be changed. They can't really come up with the ideas how to improve that image. So it's the job of the graphic designer or the freelancer to give you the wow moment. So look at your competitor listings, do some research on your own, that what image looks good and what image does not look good. And if it looks photoshopped, go back and ask for the revisions. And do not feel do not hesitate, or do not feel shy when you're asking for revisions. You're paying for it, it's your right. If the job is not done right at the first time, go back and ask for the revisions. So these are some of my tips for the Amazon sellers.
And how this licensing, how does it look like? Like, let's say you tell me this photo is licensed, so you will send me a text file with some license code. How does it look like?
Licenses, Yeah, that's a good one. There's no really certificate or anything where we can show that, okay, this is a licensed image. It's just it's just a finding a right person who's downloading that image from from the Adobe stock or Shutterstock. So there's not really a way to tell that. So you can't really say, but you are pretty safe. If you are using image from those websites. The other thing, what you can do, you can ask them to send you the link where they downloaded the image from. So that way, you know that, okay, this guy knows where he found the image, and this is the image he's using from that website. So that gives you a confidence that maybe you can ask him for the snapshot of the download from the library from where he downloaded. So that is a good way to double check. But yeah, the link is more than enough. If this freelancer can show you the link, okay, this is the source file, that's more than enough.
I think that's really helpful for sellers. Yeah, go ahead.
No, another option is to just sign up yourself to this stock image website and download yourself and give to the freelancer.
That is so true. You can download yourself, but these websites are a little bit expensive, right? So you're paying for the stock image, and what can happen sometimes is you download the image, you give it to the freelancer, and freelancers be like, you know what, we can't use this image. Then you have wasted, right? So what agencies or freelancers do, they have the plans for like 1,000 images per month or 750 images per month. So it's much more cheaper. They're just going to pay like 10-20 cents for that image. On the other side, when you create the account, and it's going to be very expensive. And the not so good thing about Adobe and Shutterstock, they will commit to you for the whole year and they won't cancel it, right? So then you're paying for the whole year. So it is a good advice if you really want to license if you want to have the license under your name. It's a really good advice. Yeah, I like it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kamal. So once again, what's your website and also your YouTube channel, and what do you do on the YouTube channel? What do you teach Amazon sellers?
Okay, so you can reach us at www.amzonestep.com or info@amzonestep.com. And with the YouTube channel, we have 2 YouTube channels where we give some information about listing optimization, product photography, or the events that we organize here. In Edmonton, we have meetup groups in 6 different cities of Canada, and we also do some virtual meetups. So we post content about that. So you can probably, you can probably check that out.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye, Kamal.
Thanks, Augustas. Thanks, Lisett.
I hope this conversation with Kamal was useful for you. And if you want to hear more interviews and conversations with different Amazon expert service providers, Amazon sellers, Amazon event organizers, and software creators, don't forget to subscribe below to your YouTube channel of Orange Klik. Click the notification bell as well. And see you in the next video.